GDPR. Are you sick of it yet? I know it's not the most exciting topic to talk about, but I'm covering in this video the exact steps I took. There were 4 things I did, 4 steps. So step 1 was I grabbed my free GDPR, step 1, free GDPR package from Suzanne Dibble, where it showed me or explained to me if GDPR even affects me. So I had to do that. And then step 2 was I renewed, updated, actually no, just renewed my privacy notice because I didn't have one before. I could have done it myself, but I just didn't have the time to do it, and I don't have the legal knowledge to do it either. I'm not a lawyer or anything, and I wanted to do it right. But I'm going to share the link or the resource I used underneath this video as well, so you can have a look at that too. Step 3 was get or renew, update your opt-ins, so that people, new subscribers, can give you freely given consent to sign up to your email list. It is a bit it's not complicated, but once you know what you're doing, I'm focusing on MailChimp in my video, so I'm giving you the exact steps in MailChimp, including the blog, which is actually written. So I'm mentioning in the video that it's not written yet, but it is. It's done. It's linked up underneath this video. So step 4, final step, get your data processing agreements, DPAs, from your processors. For example, MailChimp, that's a processor. But again, I'm going to explain everything to you in the video as well as the blog. I'm going to list it all out so you can follow the steps as you go along. Let's get to it. Let's get started. There are 3 steps I took to get GDPR ready. It doesn't have to be complicated. I wanted to keep it simple. I've researched it for 3 weeks straight. I didn't do anything else. Turns out I am a GDPR nerd. I talked to 2 privacy professionals. One of them hopped on a Skype call with me not once but twice and answered very patiently all of my 24 questions. Needless to say, I did purchase my privacy package with him, which also included the terms and conditions and a website disclaimer. So the privacy notice is right here and the terms and conditions are right here, which is also a quick tip to have them above your fold, because if people purchase your product and they didn't get to see that you have a privacy notice and terms and conditions, you may have next to no protection, if any, legal protection, if anything goes wrong. So usually everybody has it in the footer, but I do have it there as well, but I also have it in the navigation bar, just to be sure, Okay, step 1, what I did. So these are only my steps, but after consulting 2 privacy professionals, my first step was, or what I would suggest, which is also what I did, is get the free GDPR checklist for online businesses, which tells you or shows you or gives you a few tips to see if the GDPR affects you at all. So it really helped me to be a bit clearer, because last year I heard about the GDPR the first time and I thought, I'm in Australia, nothing to do with me. But guess what? It does, because I have a website. I am collecting email addresses with opt-ins and freebies from people who live in the European Union. That means it makes me GDPR affected. So I have to comply. Next thing I did, I was humming and hawing. Is that the right word? So I was wondering, can I do this myself? But turns out I didn't have the time. I'm not a legal person and I wanted to do this right. So I purchased a privacy policy, this one, and I'm so glad I did, because this is with disclaimer template and it was the best package I could find out there. I wanted it easy to understand. I wanted all the information out there for my people to understand why I'm collecting their data and what I'm doing with it and how I protect it. So that's what I did with this privacy notice, and I wanted to do it right. So I purchased it from disclaimer template, which is the best package I could find out there. And in my case, I took the big 3 package. So this is that one. But I'm gonna leave the link underneath the video. Just have a look, see what it feels feels like, obviously you can also do it yourself, but in my case, I just didn't have the time and I wanted it to be right and I wanted it to be easy to understand and I want it to be protected. So just make sure, have a look, see what it feels like, and then, yeah, go from there. Step 3, that was the more complicated step, trying to figure it out the right way, because last week I did a YouTube tutorial to go through all the Squarespace opt-ins, the pop-ups, the opt-ins, and the landing page. Turns out Squarespace is not set up for GDPR just yet. The opt-in forms, it's either you can do double opt-in, but it's not confirmed because you're supposed to have a checkbox. So let me just quickly show you what I mean. Here, checkbox like this. I agree. Normally, just one checkbox with the GDPR compliant copy on the top, which I have here. But there needs to be one checkbox underneath the text, underneath the email. And Squarespace can't do that. They can do it with one, but then you are not able to link the privacy notice and the terms and conditions. I always say on conditions. Terms and conditions. In this case, MailChimp has prepared it or made it really easy for us to comply to it all, because this down here is all MailChimp's template. So they prepared it for us. We can then just adjust it to the way we want to make it sound just a little bit more appealing. In this case, I left most of their copy in. The only thing I changed was this here. So everything else is MailChimp's doing. And then here they linked their privacy policy and terms and conditions. It didn't need to be there because the most important thing is to have your own privacy notice and terms and conditions right here for people to check it out and click into it. So these, for example, open in a new window so the people can quite easily go back and just sign up. Check these boxes here, see what they want, which freebie they want, put their email address in, and then tick I agree. So if they get the freebie, they tick I agree, you're all good. If they get the freebie, they tick the box, they put the email address in, they click I don't agree. The only thing you can do is send them the freebie. After that, you cannot send them a further email. You just can't under the new GDPR law. You cannot send them an email unless they tick that box. Okay? So that is that. The way I did this GDPR compliant copy, it was quite easily done because MailChimp explains it here step by step. And I'm going to put this link underneath this video as well. But I will also create a blog, which I'm in the middle of doing right now, and put all the links I used into the blog so you can just click into it quite easily. These are the exact resources I read through, I went through, and I'm giving you the essentials to save you some time. I'm also giving you the links to purchase, if you like, unless you want to do it yourself, the big 3 disclaimer template that includes the privacy policy and the terms and conditions, as well as the disclaimer, the website disclaimer. So, but just have a read, see how it feels. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is how I did the MailChimp compliant GDPR form, which is this one. So let's do that. Go into MailChimp. So I'm in MailChimp now, and see how there's this little GDPR icon here. All these other lists are going to disappear. I only want one list here going forward, and this is my main list. So I'm going to go, or I did go into the drop-down menu. I did go into settings, and then I went into list name and defaults. And here is where I ticked the box enable GDPR fields, and that's it. And then all you have to do is save list and campaign defaults. This will be blue. You click it and it's all saved. Once you do that, that means that your sign up form, on your sign up form, this part here appears. And then you have to also enable the marketing permissions, but it's all explained step by step right here. See, if I look for marketing permissions, right here, segment your list by marketing permissions. It's all explained here, and I'm going to put this link right underneath this video as well. However, I will also put this link into that blog, which I'm going to add underneath this video as soon as this blog is finished. So that's what I'm going to do. If you scroll further down, that's where they show you step by step segment your list by marketing permissions. So I'm going to touch on that now as well to show you in my list. Hang on a second. So this time I clicked list again, and then I clicked right into the list and went into manage contacts and went into segments. But instead of going into segments like this, because that's where the existing segments are, I clicked on create a segment. So in this case, I am not going to do that. I want to show you, but this is how I did it. But I want to show you what it looks like. Actually, I might just quickly show you. I just won't save it. So what I did was I went into all, and then you scroll down here and find marketing permissions. Click on and then you click on I agree. You preview the segment, you click save. So I'm going to just do that now. And then you would click save, because that's the email addresses where they have all agreed up until now. So I'm still collecting them. And then, but I want to show you what that looks like when it is actually already done. Click on it right here. And then I want to show you the segments, the ones I created already. Segments, so I did that twice. Once I did it for I agree, and the other time for I don't agree. And that's all you have to do on that one. So that way it will collect the details. When they click into I agree, it's going to look like this. Hang on. So I went into one of them. There is the email address, and here is what freebie they collected, or what freebie they wanted, or what freebie they ticked. My gosh. And also, in case you're wondering what this is a group I created, but I am hiding it, because once the GDPR is affected on the 25th of May, I'm going to move all of those who have agreed here, who have ticked that box. I'm going to move those email addresses into that group of reconsented groups, so that I know these are the ones I can keep sending emails to. Anybody else who didn't agree, who ticked the I don't agree, are going to be unsubscribed and or deleted. So that way I'm tidying up my email list quite nicely, and only have the people here who actually want my emails. So which is quite a great chance or opportunity for us to tidy up our email list, because it makes our emails to be better deliverable, so that the open rate is going to increase, which is great. So which is quite positive. But that's my plan, how to create groups. I'm just going to quickly show you how I did that. I went into the list, into my main list, and what I did here is manage contacts groups. And now I created a group from here. So this is what I did. This is how I did it. I called it, that's what it looks like. I called it GDPR reconsented. Actually, I might just do that to show you. Here is where you click create group, and then you can take checkbox as radio buttons, slots, and so on. In my GDPR reconsented group, for that one, I clicked don't show these groups in my sign up form. For the other ones, you know, the freebies, I ticked as checkboxes, so people can select more than one. But in this particular one, I didn't want anyone to see that, because that's just my own little group, so I know who I can send emails to after the 25th of May. So, and I created and I called it again GDPR reconsented, because you have to put at least one group name here. And then I clicked save, and that was that, and that was that created. So that's how I created that group. And the way I did that here, I just did the same thing 3 times, and I not 3 times, just once. So let me just quickly show you before I confuse you anymore. So here is just what I call it freebies for you. I think that's what I called it. Yes. And then I put in the names of the freebies here. So this one is access to Squarespace newbies Facebook group. The second freebie was a 10-step step Squarespace setup, and so on. And the third freebie was the guide to writing your first 5 email sequence. So email sequence, that was that. And then I clicked save, and that was it. So my 3 groups were created. That's what happened, and that's what it looked like. So I'm going to cancel out of that one. And in order to also change the text of your sign up form, you go into the list, into the relevant list that you want to do it for, click into sign up forms, and then click into form builder. So now you can adjust your form whichever way you like. So here in my case, I clicked on change and I put an image there, okay? And then here I went into it and I edited the text and made it GDPR compliant, telling people what they can expect in my emails, and also asking them to click I agree, the I agree box, and pick any of the freebies below as a thank you for joining my VIP list, because I want to encourage them to click the I agree rather than the no, I don't agree, because, you know, you're giving them a freebie. So the other thing that's important is to make sure to have your privacy notice and terms and conditions linked to the top part of your opt-in form or sign-up form, because that is required by the new GDPR law. Also, the difference between the word privacy notice and privacy policy. Privacy policy is internal, your internal regulations. Privacy notice is for external, how you use customers' email addresses or data. So the your external policy. So I have to get used to saying privacy notice as opposed to privacy policy, because that is what my privacy policy, or see, I'm doing it again. Privacy notice is called on my website. It's privacy notice, not policy, because it's external. It's for everybody. So that's it. So I'm going to click save. Oh yes, and there was one more thing with regards to the sign up form I really wanted to show you, because this is a little trick how to get your visitors back to your site. So even though they go onto the MailChimp form, so they go away from your site, there's a little trick to get them back onto your site automatically so they can keep exploring your site. So once you've created your sign up form and you're all done, you're all happy, you go into the forms and response emails, drop down menu, go into confirmation page. And here is where you can put a link in. Instead of showing this thank you page, which is the, you know, the MailChimp default thank you page, they are going to see this thank you page. And what that looks like is when they sign up, they are going to be sent to this page back to my website automatically. So I'm not losing any visitors, even though they just signed up to a MailChimp form. How good is that? So I just thought I wanted to show that to you, because that was really important and that's really exciting. What else? Let me just check. In order for an email to be triggered when someone signs up to your main list, this is what you do. You go into campaigns. I created 4 emails. So first, the welcome message for my main email list. So just to welcome the people on the list, thank you for jumping on board, and so on and so on. In order to change the trigger, you have to pause it and click edit trigger, because you want it to be sent out immediately after people sign up. And then you click change trigger, list management. This is not a list group, so you don't have to do that. But as you create the other 3 email campaigns automations, you are going to have to click onto these, because you're creating that from the main list. And I'm going to show you now so you can see it makes sense. So I used to have the ongoing campaigns already set up. I just copied them. I replicated them. So let's say I'm replicating another one here. It's paused. So I'm going to just replicate the paused one. Let me see how that works. Replicated. See how I can select a list here. For the further 3 campaigns, for what people take with regards to the freebie, so they take that one or that one or that one or whatever freebies you have, because you want them to hop on the list. hop into the group as they tick the boxes here, whichever freebie they want. You want to send them a certain email automation to give them the respective freebie. So this would be 3 emails. And just make sure, if you do the replication like I did, just make sure to select the main list, because the mistake I made, I selected the list of the freebie and the whole automation didn't work. It took me an entire day to figure it out. Then you click next and the system is loading. You can then click into edit trigger and change trigger, and this is where you go into list management, and this is where this box here is available to click. You click that, and here is where you can tick the freebies so the respective email is sent out. And then you can change it to either hours or 1 hour or whichever way you want. I tend to do immediately, and that's how that works. But let me just quickly check if that is going to also work if you create a campaign from scratch, which I didn't do in this case. I just replicated them. So you go into create a campaign. Let's say you want to create a campaign for your one freebie, for one of the freebies. You would still just click a normal welcome message and then just say call it freebie. And here is where you still select the big main list instead of the freebie list, because you only got the one list. And then you click begin. And then you design your email. You click into it, and it just goes without saying. It's quite self-explanatory. So you just click design email, but I want to show you how you then make sure that the people who are signing up for the one freebie that you offered, as a thank you for signing up to their email list, to their main list, you click into change trigger, list management, joins list group, and again here you can now choose it because you chose the main list rather than the freebie only list, which is what I did wrong, because that was the one piece I was missing. I was doing wrong. Everything else was working. So, but you know, it took me a while to figure that out, but I got help from a MailChimp expert. So, and that is that. That's how I did this. But make sure to check the blog, which is hopefully, fingers crossed, ready in the next day or two. And also MailChimp has so many amazing tutorials to tell you click by click how to do it. But I'm going to share all those links in here as well as the privacy notice package, the big tree package with the privacy notice and the terms and conditions and website disclaimer, which is the exact one I purchased. And that's why I thought I wanted to share it with you, because I did buy one before that. It just didn't work for me because the implementation and the instructions, it didn't work for me, and I didn't get any questions answered. So in this case, he came back to me twice with 2 Skype calls even after I purchased it, because I had a few questions and we just went through them, and it was great, and it was totally easy to follow, or easy to follow steps. The instructions are great. So but just have a look, see what it feels like. And again, I got a few links here as well, which were so useful to me, which are the ones I used. I'm just giving you here just the most essential things. And here, the reason why it takes a bit longer is because I wanted to put some screenshots in there to give you a bit of a guidance, but I'm going to include MailChimp's links there as well. And the other thing is, oh yes, the get your data processing agreement. This is step 4, and it's also very important. Okay, so what I did in this case, for example, I created an Excel sheet in my case, only just so for me to have it all. But I will include the links in the blog as well, because in this case, so my third-party processors, you know, the tools that hold my data, for example, MailChimp and Stripe. So I'm explaining exactly what I use them for, or why I use them, what data I collect, and when did I process it. So here I had just done the amendment or accepted it, you know, with a tick, just today. And here I'm going to leave the link for you as well, so you can click that and do your own Google Analytics data processing amendment, because you have to do it before the 25th of May. And here, MailChimp is quite good in getting back. Stripe is also quite good. I only just sent them an email today, but they already got back to me, so I just have to do that and implement it. So that's the 2 of them, or the 3 of them that I have. Calendly, I'm gonna have to still contact them. Squarespace, I have to still contact them, and Zapier. So those are the three I still have to contact. But apart from that, I'm gonna leave this table in on the blog as well, just so you can see what I did, so you can model it. And I'm gonna leave the links for you as well, so to make it easy for you to just get your data processing agreements signed, done, dusted, and you can move on. And that was that. That was the 4 steps I did. I hope I could help. I hope it made sense. If you liked this video, give me a comment below, give me a thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. And yeah, so, and click the little bell, because I have new YouTube videos every single Friday. So yeah, and ask me any questions so I can create a tutorial for you and might share it here. And I think that's it. So just make sure to click the links in the video below. I have included on this occasion the link to collect consent with GDPR forms, so you can get started with that. And I have also included the link to get your what was it, to get your package, your privacy notice. Unless you want to do it yourself, totally fine. I didn't have the time and I wanted to be sure it's done right. So and the link I will put in there as well. So it's called the Big Tree package. And I think that's it. That's that. Everything else you will get in the blog, including, yeah, all the resources that I used to get this far, to get it all sorted, and to get GDPR ready. Okay, good luck with this. It's a bit of a process, but if you do it step by step, it's doable. So you can do this. You still have a little bit of time, and yeah, let's do it. And I will see you next Friday.